So I think that's an important message.
Olympics. That's crazy. It's still unbelievable for even to be a part of a squad. Do you feel that like now? Like when you say you're Olympian, does that kind of make you feel a bit proud or?
Yes, now, but it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
For a while, no. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to admit that I was an Olympian. I felt really self-conscious about it and ashamed about it, which I know sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not throwing away the amazing experience I had.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually really hard for me to come home from it and people were like, wow, you went to the Olympics. Like, I bet it was amazing. And you're like, yeah, it was amazing. Mm-hmm. And in your head, I was like, it was really horrible. It was a bit of everything.
A lot of pressure.
Pressure, just we didn't perform to the expectations we had set and everyone else had set. So the Opals, the women's Olympic basketball team have medaled at every major event for the last 20 more years for like ever. So it was the first time that we hadn't won a medal at an Olympic Games since they got into it. And that caused a lot of backlash in the media from past players, from the basketball community, and we felt it all. And I felt it. I listened, and I know other people listened as well, but I was already at that stage where I had massive insecurities and self-doubt, so it found its mark, that criticism. And that took away from my Olympic experience. So, yeah, at the Olympic Games, it was hard and grueling and not the best environment at Rio in the village and, things like that. It was hard, but the aftermath was almost even harder.
Does it make it harder as well because the Opals aren't like a team that you spend 32 weeks out of the year season together, is it you don't really get to sit down and digest and talk about and work through those challenges and as like a team or individuals, and you've got like in a club you have psychologists to talk to about that sort of stuff. You can work together. Does that make it harder that it wasn't like that? Do you feel like if it was a team that you were like in a season, like a club season, you could work through something like that?
Yeah. I think when you're in a club, and it depends what team, like not all teams gel like that. But when you are in a good team for like a 6-month season, it can feel like you really know each other and you spend so much time together in training that you figure out how to work well on the court. But in the Opals, you're right. It was like every month we'd have a 10-day camp or a tour or something, and you were together for that short amount of time, and it was 2 trainings a day, and you were living with those people, but you're also competing to make the team against those people. So it was a very interesting environment, and it does make it harder to gel.
Yep.
But having said that, at the Opal level, you're at a level where you can at least on the court figure out how to make it work. Yeah. Even with such short amount of training. But I have no doubt that if you had a 6-month preparation, like a normal season,
and then even afterwards, because I'm not too sure about this, but after the Olympics, you don't really sit down and review what happened or like isn't like performance and sit as a team, we could have done this better. You don't really do that, do you?
No, because at the end, it's kind of the team also changes. I mean, in this case, the coach wasn't the coach anymore. It all changed. So there is like a review, but it's like a survey.
You don't really get to sit down after a footy game or a footy week. You have Monday, you sit down, you've got meeting, you got your coach has a little chat, and then you got line coaches have a chat, and then by Tuesday you're into the next one, and then I think at the end of the season you have a sit down and you kind of go through goals and that sort of stuff. It makes it hard, especially with the Olympics. You have a build, like you're saying, you have camps and all that sort of stuff where it's more about competing against each other and working in the game plan and less of the review and what's going on forward. Yeah.
And also the support after Rio at least was, looking back, lacking. Like I was in a bad place and I should have probably seen a psychologist or a sports psych at least. But instead I struggled through a season in the WNBL and then that's when I went away to Europe. And that's also inspired me to do the work that I'm doing now, is because I see that support that's needed. And I think I can help with it.
The more you talk about it, I guess, as well, the easier it becomes for someone to make that decision to go and see someone. Because it would have been a big kind of had this kind of, I don't know, you would go and see something, be, oh, because see a sports psychologist back a couple of years ago would have been like kind of been looked up like a bit of a weird